Hi there, Happy New Year, and welcome to our first episode of Ageless Woman Cooking for 2016.
Well, we're excited to be here, and I don't know if you've noticed, but you're actually looking at this on our new website, Ageless Women Living.
So what was once always on DanaDimitriblog.com, you will now find everything over here on Ageless Women Living and lots of other information. Besides our cooking shows, you'll see nutrition segment. We're going to be updating this website all the time, so we hope you come back and visit often. Well, today we are going to
We're making apple pancakes. And the reason that we want to show you, we like breakfast. We think it is an important recipe or an important meal for the day. And as ageless women, we really want to encourage you to have a breakfast that has protein in it. It has a small amount of carbohydrate, good essential fats, as well as fiber, so that it keeps you full, helps regulate your blood sugar. And so that's what we're going to do with these apple pancakes.
And I know a lot of you, and ourselves included, we love the carbo sensation. And in the morning, maybe that's your preference. You've been a toast eater or oatmeal or cereal or all those kinds of things. Well, we also recognize that many ageless women, probably more than not, 60–70%, have some challenges with insulin resistance, which means that when your carbohydrates are too high, especially in refined grains and so forth, throws your blood sugar off. It makes your body store carbohydrate as fat very rapidly. So these recipes will do just the opposite. They'll promote weight loss, balance blood sugar, and they're delicious, they're fast, and as always, we pick the healthiest ingredients because we not only want to help you manage your weight as you mature, but also get healthier and healthier.
And I just want to say that we're going to make a recipe. This will serve the two of us. And if you want to, you can double, even triple the recipe, make them all in advance and wrap them up in foil or saran wrap, stick them in the refrigerator, stick them in the freezer. You can half the recipe. Sometimes if I'm just making it for myself, I want to make it real quick, I'll just half the recipe and use it just for one serving at that moment.
Okay, so let's just quickly go over the basic ingredients, Robin, so what they're going to have on hand.
Okay, we're using a free-range organic egg, if you can find them. These are from Costco, and the recipe calls for 3 large eggs, but look at these eggs from Costco. They're always really, I think they call them medium, but they're pretty small. So Dan and I are going to use 4 eggs today. You want coconut flour. You want apples, any variety. You can use green apples. These look like, what are these?
These are Gala, and they are organic. So, you know, it is one of the ones that people recommend the apples to be organic. If you can afford it and if you can find them, that's the ideal.
My favorite are Pink Ladies.
Oh.
If you haven't tried them, yummy. Okay, we're using a sweetener, a natural sweetener, whatever you have on hand. Stevia, today we're going to use Treleafia. You could also use, we like this is the monk fruit liquid, Lohan is what they call it. You could just squirt that in to taste. We've got a dash of salt we're using.
Oopsie, here we go.
A little bit of baking soda, some cinnamon, and a little bit of vanilla. This is homemade vanilla that one of our coaching clients sent us for Christmas. Thank you, Michelle.
It's delicious. It smells so good. So it's going into the pancakes today. Okay, let's get going.
Okay, first thing, we've already washed our apples. So we want 2 cups of shredded apple. And Dana's going to hand shred them. I hope she doesn't give us any of her knuckles in the...
I hope so too.
in the batter.
So let's empty those out so I can...
Yeah.
So I'm going to grate here with the larger portion of my grater right onto just a cutting board. So I'm going to try to be as quiet as I can be, Robin.
While she's doing that, I'm going to just mix up these eggs, and I'm actually going to do it right in our batter bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, you're going to decide the size of your eggs if you're going to use 3 or 4. It's not as precise as, say, baking a cake, but those good organic eggs are going to give you a nice source of protein. And let's talk about, you know, that balance of protein, carbohydrate, and fat. We always want to have a balance in every meal or snack. If you're too heavy on the carbo, as we already said, your blood sugar is going to go wacko.
And I'm just going to whisk up these eggs real quick, and then I'm going to add the other wet ingredients, which would be our vanilla, and then I'm going to add the dry ingredients. So our vanilla, I'm gonna reach across you, Dana.
Okay.
So we're gonna add a half a teaspoon of vanilla.
And I'm guessing, Robin, probably depending on the size of the apples, it's gonna be 2 to 3 apples for
Right.
the 2 cups. So that is gonna be,
I'm gonna add a dash of salt. Oh my goodness, when I opened this, the whole thing opened on
that's
me.
Himalayan sea salt, so that's why, if it looks a little pink to you, it is pink. It's supposed to be
Just
one
a
of
dash.
the healthiest salts.
And then I'm going to add the cinnamon. I keep reaching across, Deanna, because
It's
all the
okay.
ingredients are over there. So we want a teaspoon of cinnamon. And actually, I can't get the cinnamon in here, so hopefully it won't, or the spoon in the cinnamon. So if I go over, it's okay.
By the way, here's a little health factoid. Cinnamon is awesome for lowering blood pressure. So it's a great thing to add into your diet on a regular basis. And I know Robin is going to talk to you a little bit more about the benefits of the coconut flour. And of course, if you watch our show at all, we are always finding creative ways to get coconut oil, coconut fats into your diet every day. Seriously, every day.
Here is a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. That just helps your pancakes to be a little fluffier since you're using typically this is a little bit more of an eggy batter. And I'm just mixing everything up first that I've just already put in there. Once Dana is done with shredding the apples, we're going to pat them off with paper towel so that they don't add too much water to our batter. The thing about coconut flour is it's very absorbent. So we start with 1 tablespoon of the coconut flour for your batter, depending on how much liquid we get out of the apples, depending on we added an extra egg or half an egg on the sides. We may add some more coconut flour as we're looking at the batter. So.
And I wanted to mention too, Robin, you made this comment that the pancakes are a little more eggy. Think crepe. I mean, it's all about perspective, and it may not be that fluffy big old flapjack you got at Denny's years ago, but it's this healthy kind of crepey version, and it's all about changing your palate a little bit, but they're all very tasty.
You know, before I add the coconut flour, I just remembered I want to add our Trilithia, the natural sweetener. So about 1/8 of a teaspoon. I want to add that to the liquid so I can stir it up and get it throughout it before I start adding the flour. Seems to be an easier way to get it dispersed through and sweeten the whole thing. Okay, so the Trilithia, the sweetener, whatever you're putting in to sweeten it, is mixed through the mixture. And I'm just going to add the tablespoon of coconut flour, and we'll get a look and see what the batter is going to do. I'm going to wait to add more, and if we need it, until I get those apples in, because the apples have moisture. Plus, I like the coconut flour to just sit for just a minute or two. It starts to absorb and thicken a little bit. So we've got about 2 cups of the
And
apples.
it's definitely moist and
Yeah, look how
juicy.
wet this-
I'm getting little sniddles on
Should I
myself.
just take this from you and you
Go ahead, yeah.
That's wet.
Have you ever heard the word sniddles? My grandfather, who has been deceased many, many years, he made up this word sniddles. And sniddles are all the leftover little pieces that you find anywhere. You know, if you're sewing, it's the little pieces of thread. If you're cooking, it's the little crumbs. They're sniddles.
That's a cute
Isn't that a
name.
cute word?
Yeah.
Sniddles. So
So-
there's a family word for you.
We're just patting it dry. We're not doing a full squeeze.
So it's not about being completely void of
No, but maybe
moisture.
flatten a little bit more because the center, or
But this is pretty wet.
Yeah.
You want me to do another
Well, let me
paper
give you a
towel?
couple more paper
'Cause these
towels.
are juicy apples,
Juicy.
which is great. I mean, when you're eating it, it's great. When you're cooking with it, maybe just a little.
I'm back on set. I'm always running off set.
Yeah, you know, we don't have an assistant on here. But I mean, look at this moisture. You probably can't see that white on white, but it is pretty significant. All right, I think that's probably
That's good.
Now,
Okay, let me
you
move
ready?
these eggs and these apples out of the way and then slide that over.
Oh, that cinnamon smells yummy. I love apples. Okay, we're gonna just throw that over
Just
there.
mix this in.
There's a lot of apples.
Yeah, a lot of apples.
You know, relative to the batter, this is super
Super appley.
appley. That's why we call them apple pancakes.
Wow.
I can't wait to eat them.
If you feel like your batter is too thin and too watery, add a teaspoon of coconut flour at a time. We're gonna go to the griddle, like you said, and cook them up. If your batter is thick like ours was, I just mash it down and make a patty with your spatula. Add the rest of the pancakes onto the griddle, smash them down, and let them cook until they're golden brown on each side. Flip them over and let them cook through, and you're all set. Cook them, I would say, for about 1.5 minutes on each side, depending on how hot your cooktop gets. We are back and ready to eat. We're having lunch. Well, breakfast for lunch, right?
Yeah, I love that. They smell really good.
We decided we wanted a little bit of protein, so we added some turkey sausage. We have protein in the eggs, but I like to have a little bit of extra protein. Let's say you didn't have any sausage to have as an accompaniment. You could use a little bit of almond butter and spread it across the top of your pancake if you wanted, or peanut butter.
And if you've got a nice 100% maple syrup, certainly it is a sugar, you want to be very careful. 50 calories per tablespoon. I'm going to use a little bit, but I don't think a tablespoon is necessary. Less is more when it comes to adding, you know, things like honey and maple syrup. So I'm going to drizzle. I've got about a 1/2 tablespoon in here. Just going to drizzle a little bit. I think it's going to be more than enough.
And I'm actually going to just eat mine the way they are. I don't need the extra sweet or syrup. I'll just eat them plain because we already know the batter's sweet from the apples and the little bit of the trilifia. And I tasted the batter before it was cooked, and it was good.
Well, the most important thing is, how does it taste? So let's do it, Robin.
Let's dig in.
All right. This is the first time I've had these. Not the first time for you.
I've made them several times.
Mmm.
They're delicious.
They are plenty sweet. If I did not have the maple syrup, I would be satisfied.
Yeah, you don't absolutely need it. I don't think you need it at all. But then I don't have the big sweet tooth. Or do I?
Chocolate, she does.
Chocolate.
We hope you enjoyed these. Stay healthy, and we'll see you on the next recipe.